Hey folks, it's June 3rd, 2020. The time is about 3:39 Central Time, 4:39 Eastern. Let's look at some of the calls that were made and also in the context of the impending top. I've actually had a couple of emails from the members, uh, asking about the top situation. So this is from Sunday and quite unbelievable at the time, and especially with the 40 ES gap lower on Sunday as well. And although the price from the timing calendar is not a given, the focus should simply be on the CITs and the time series. Uh, I do try and project the price based on recent action. So this was showing we're gonna reach roughly 31, 34 as per this by June 5th. Today is June 3rd and we hit 31.30 and some change. Um, Once again, if you look at the CIT strength for June 5th, it's pretty high at 4. So I don't think we're gonna back off until this date. Um, so just keep that in mind. And even at that, if you can look at the time series, it really doesn't start to wane in strength to until June 10th after hours. But a flat series is something to be cautious about, and then we'll have to await the weekly signal on June 5th. My recommendation on Sunday was try to lighten up your longs. Um, I don't think this is another February 20th, 2020 massive crash type of scenario. This is going to be a routine multi-week correction. So that's what we're looking at top wise, in terms of the strategy to kind of offload some of your long-term longs. I really don't understand your portfolio, so that's something you will have to figure out how to shed it. And maybe you don't shed it all. Maybe you shed 50% by June 10th, and then some more on June 15th, 16th. So literally, you got 3 dates where you could be shedding, likely June 5th close, then June 10th close, and then June 15th, 16th. Okay, so hopefully that helps. So that was the projection, and here we are. This is the real-time action so far. Uh, if some of you don't really understand time trading so far, if the time series is up, it is up. And, price can do anything it wants to do by then. I'm trying my best to project what it could be, and my neurals also predict price. My neurals as of today are not predicting that we go above 3144 on the 3140 on the ES or 3144 on SPX. But you know the time series does not really end until June 5th. Okay, so I think we got a top on the hourlies. We're probably gonna see um, a mild correction after hours, then a higher high tomorrow around 12 to 2 p.m. Eastern, and then a bigger back down, maybe into Friday open, and then higher again. Um, this being Friday could also be reflected on Sunday open, and we may end up getting a larger gap higher before we churn into 10th, decline hard into 11th. I think this is where you will get the sell signal on dailies, 10th and 11th. So that's kind of visually mapping it. That's what I think. Um, I try to show what it could look like rest of this week. I think we get some correction on the hourlies today. 3110 is good support, but ultimately this week we are most likely gonna retest the 702 Tuesday PM CIT in a wave 4, and I think retest would be around 3095 on SPX and 3091 on ES. That's based on today's high hit, and then it could change based on the high hit we get tomorrow, and then kind of go back up. CIT's review, 7 a.m., obviously a perfect match. Then from an RTH or regular trading hours perspective, Lieutenant Eric had 10:02. If he took the call, it would have paid off nicely. And this is meant to be a continuation CIT, so there was meant to be a retest. It was inverted, and so we actually got roughly the high here, and then we got the the inverted retest over here. Pretty mild because the time series is strongly up into close. And then 315 was roughly inverted, but then we knew from the PM pivot there's 95% chance of the high in the final hour, and we ended up getting a decent move here. Looking at I'm not recapping the monthly wick cycles because it is still riding the monthly wave and there are no breaches. The level to watch on that is around 3062, very similar to what we're seeing as the midline on the dailies. This chart actually is from yesterday, June 2nd, and the suggestion was to buy against Monday, Tuesday lows. And then basically also we had the 7:02 p.m. We got a retest at 3077, and we got a nice 53.54 ES ride. That's kind of the power of the smart CITs. There was only one for the week. And I also this is the candle I projected yesterday. I did suggest we cleared 3098 and we cleared 3123. Both were cleared. This is 6.3 projection. This is roughly 31.37 or so. I think after hours we're limited by that, but tomorrow during RTH we could see higher high above today. That's kind of tomorrow's bar. But in comparison to what I had projected yesterday, the bar pretty much hit the targets. Still moving higher, the dailies, but I have checked out the monthly and the weekly. Both are overbought. The weekly is also overbought at this stage. I checked that out. But once again, time is supreme and it's an attractor, so it's gonna keep pulling the market up. We still have a couple more trading days to go. So for tomorrow, worst case, I think midline's at 3097.4, so any approaches should be bought, and the market should recover out. On the Michan/GAN pivot model, everything is cool, and market still wants to trend higher. Just ignore this red coloring. The conditional formatting is not working. I'll have to spend time debugging that. But this is also on buy. The close is fine. All the wave degrees are fine. If you recall, we're above the March, April, May, monthly pivots and doing fine. The next pivot is actually from February at 32.44. And anything is possible in the next couple of trading days. Let me just say that. Let's go to the strategy grid. We had a bunch of targets. They got cleared. The midpoint between 3105.76 and 3159.38 was 3132.37, and today's high is 3130.94, and we got a quick backing off from there, worth about 10-11 ES points. So these pivots are really important. If you're trading intraday, you can always take your chances against them, and you have the stops right there. So of all the models, the hourly wave on Elliott waves did come in on sell, which projects to 3115.89. If that goes, it projects to the midpoint, which is 3095. So I'm getting this number from various models, 3095 as the support for rest of the week. And that's a buy zone. Now the key is gonna be what happens with this number and also 3132.37. So far this has not been triggered, 3159.38. It's not been triggered. It gets triggered only once 3132.37 is exceeded. And then subsequently, if this gets triggered, then June may be looking at 3251.54, which is the February sell pivot. So, obviously an extremely important level, 3250 roughly. Just keep that in mind. And don't be surprised if you see that number early next week. But there's a sequence to that, 3237, 31, 32.37, 3159.38, and then boom, 3251.54. So that is why our tiered approach to taking your profits is the best. Markets are still pumping. I don't see any significant breach that would warn of the top being in place on a sell-off. That's the update, folks. Maintain your stops, trail, take some profits, and we'll keep tracking this baby. Good luck.